Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Hot Seat Spotlight for the Fall 2025 Builder Innovator Summit. Today, I'm so excited to bring you one of the East Coast premier custom home builders, Jim Schneider, owner of Schneider Construction.
Yeah, just thanks for having me. I appreciate the time. Looking forward to October and getting together.
Absolutely. So, with nearly 4 decades of experience, a passion for building science, and a hands on legacy that started back on job sites with his dad at age 9, Jim is known for delivering high performance homes with lasting value. Jim, welcome to the hot seat. All right, so you've been in the custom home building business for nearly 4 decades. I want to know what first drew you to the craft and how has your perspective evolved?
What's really interesting is that early on, I wasn't really drawn to the craft. My dad, as you know, as I explained in my bio, my dad brought me to work with him when I was a kid, mostly because he was a worker bee and really had no other time to spend with me. So he took me weekends and vacations to work with as a little guy, telling me he needed help, um, which I believed. And I spent my entire adolescence telling him I was too smart to ever become a contractor and I was going to be an engineer. I was going to do something else. But I learned, and to answer the how did my perspective change? The reason I started my business was I realized that I enjoyed putting things together more than I enjoyed proving that they would work. My math background serves me pretty well, and engineering, especially structural engineering, is super, super important. We need to know that what we're going to build is going to work, but there's a tangible result that you can get standing in the street, looking at daily, weekly, monthly process that you just don't get, that I don't get, um, proving things mathematically. That has been my evolution, and now this small design build firm is now my identity, built on a set of skills I never intended to use.
I didn't know you had a math background. I have one as well, so we're related in that sense. Um, so I know you deal with a lot of clients that have different demands, especially being in the custom home building space. I know that they often come in with big dreams, high expectations. How do you balance creativity and design freedom with practicality?
Uh, for me personally, it's about building a team up front to manage that process, and it is a process. I mean, design build is a process. It's not transactional, and what's most important for me is to make sure that I introduce components in that early stage, that can produce that creativity and design. I'm the practical guy. I'm the logistics guy. So that is my role. Um, I often will explain to clients about our pre-construction process where we create a team with the design folks, um, architect, myself, and the client, uh, in a manner where I'll basically say that if we if they hire an architect without someone like me, they're going to get a beautiful design that they'll never be able to afford to build. If they hire someone like me without the architect, it certainly will be budget friendly, but it won't be very compelling because that's just not what I do. So the most successful projects are when we can leverage the skill set of a designer, architect, a builder like myself, and then follow the direction from the client. So that's really the that's the sweet spot.
So you mentioned involving an architect in the process, and I can only imagine luxury clients might be a little bit confused sometimes about just like all of the players involved and when to involve them and so on and so forth. And I know that's where you come in. So how do you help luxury clients see beyond surface level finishes and understand the long term value and really understand what's behind the walls?
Sure. Well, it's education. Um, we do this every day. As you mentioned before, we committed to high performance. High performance homes are it's a very special niche. It's a very unique niche, and kind of a little catchphrase that I tell all of my clients really early on during the discovery phase is that What you don't see matters. I recently brought a group of realtors through a newly completed home, and as we looked around, I explained that the fit and finish that you are looking at is maybe not appreciably different from what most builders will produce. What you don't see with the things behind the walls are significantly different. And what's important is to find the language that makes people understand what all of that science means to them. I've learned to not get into the geeky statistics and all of the things that are so important to me that mean something to me that makes their eyes glaze over. What's most important to them is how all of that science translates into how they're going to use their home, how their home is going to perform better, it's going to be more comfortable, pay now or pay later. So, you get what you pay for. And what I spend a lot of time doing is making sure that people understand the differences in what they're buying. Yes, we are more expensive, but they are getting a different product. And it's my job to educate them as to the what those differences are.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the session that you'll be on at the Builder Innovator Summit this fall. So you'll be a part of a session that's centered around budgeting, luxury tech, and just like the pricing component around that. So, what's one budgeting tip that you share with other custom builders when it comes to integrating tech without blowing up the overall project cost?
I think the most important thing is to work with the integrator to identify the low-hanging fruit. We can include really important elements to tech in someone's home um, that don't need to be novelty, expensive items. I know in all of our homes, we routinely include an automatic water shut off. There's so many thermostats. There are a lot of small, low hanging fruit items that we can include. But being on the same page with the integrator is really where we start. Um, Knowing what those opportunities are, understanding as the builder to know what kind of things have to go in as part of the infrastructure, what kind of things can be added later. That's all important stuff. And and I also think it's important because as the builder, we're kind of the quarterback, uh, managing the client and the integrator. It's our job also to find out what it is that the client's really interested in. I think that if you just throw a bunch of shiny objects at them, they're going to be, you know, they're going to say yes to everything. They'll either be overwhelmed or they'll be infatuated with all the things. I think it's very important to not lead with all the really expensive things uh, that can possibly blow that budget up. If I parked a Ferrari and a Hyundai out in the driveway and said, "Which one would you like?" with no background, with no context of the financial ramification of that decision, they're going to pick the more expensive option. So I think what's important is to make sure that they understand what they're looking at, understand what you're presenting to them, so that you don't send them down a rabbit hole with no context for the decisions that they're making.
As we wrap this interview, I wanted to ask, I'm curious, what's in 10 words or less, what's one piece of advice that you would give to a luxury or custom builder who's watching this video right now?
Do what you do best. Don't try to be everything to everyone.
That's perfect. I mean, I could take that advice myself. I feel like that advice could be translated to any industry. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for joining us in the hot seat. We really appreciate you taking out the time to sit and talk with us today.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you in October.
Absolutely. If you're watching this and you want to learn more about Jim, please be sure to check out his full expert profile on builderinnovator.com. Thank you. Bye.